In this video tutorial, we're going to walk through creating a very basic JavaScript application capable of connecting to Scriptel's OmniScript and opening a ScripTouch signature capture device. You'll need a couple tools to get started. You'll need a recent web browser, either Apple Safari 6 or greater, Google Chrome 16 or greater, Microsoft Internet Explorer 10 or greater, Mozilla Firefox 11 or greater, or Opera 1210 or later. Next, you'll need a text editor. Notepad, gedit, or TextEdit will all work, but pretty much any text editor should do the trick. Make sure OmniScript is installed and running, and that you have at least one ScripTouch signature capture device hooked up to your computer. For this example, we're going to assume that you're going to be using an OmniScript instance installed on your local computer. We'll start by creating the files we'll need to make the example work. Open up a folder and create two new files. We'll create a tutorial HTML file and a tutorial JavaScript file. Let's open up the HTML file and make a skeleton HTML document. Add the doctype tag to indicate that this is an HTML5 application. Then create the open and close HTML tags. Next, create the head and body tags. Let's give our document a title and create a script tag that sources in the script file we just created. Now let's add an onload handler to our document body that calls a function we'll create in the JavaScript file in just a moment. Save the document and open up the JavaScript file. Create the function we just referenced in the onload handler in the HTML document. Double check and make sure the function matches the one we're calling. Once that's done, we can start writing code. Let's start by creating a WebSocket along with a callback for the connection established, connection closed, and data received events. We'll put console.log statements in each of the callbacks so we can verify they're being called when we run the application. Every message we receive will be a JSON encoded object. We'll take the message event we get passed as part of the onMessage handler and we'll deserialize it. Add a console.log statement to print the deserialized object. Now we're ready to test our skeleton application. Open your web browser. I'll be using Google Chrome in this example. Open the HTML file you just created. I'm going to do that by dragging and dropping the HTML file into the browser. Now open the Developer Console. In Chrome, this can be done by clicking the menu button, going to the Tools menu, and hitting Developer Tools. This will open a window on the bottom of your screen. If it's not selected already, click the Console tab in the Developer Tools window. In this window, if everything is working correctly, you should see the messages you just placed in the application. Expand the message object and you'll be able to see the deserialized object members that OmniScript sent you. You've just received a connection open event that contains information about the OmniScript server and what devices are connected to it. Now, that's nice, but not terribly useful by itself. Let's add more to the application. Every message you receive from OmniScript has an underbar class member that indicates what type of object it is. Let's add a set of conditionals to check for specific types of messages. The first conditional we'll write will check to see if we just got a connection open message. Next, inside of this condition, We'll also check to make sure that the OmniScript server has an attached device. If it does, we'll tell OmniScript to open up that device for us. We'll do this by extracting the device out of the connection open message we were just sent, and using the first device's universally unique identifier, we'll create a device open request object that we'll serialize and send to OmniScript. Let's add another console.log message here to make sure we're hitting this. Now let's test again. Open your browser back up and refresh your page. Notice this time you received the connection open request and immediately sent back a device open request. At this point, OmniScript has reserved the first device connected to your computer for your application. Let's add a little more code to see what kind of information we can get from OmniScript now. Let's add a handler for device open response objects. These objects contain information about the device you just opened. Add a console.log statement so we can see it in the browser. Next, we'll add a catch-all for any messages that we haven't already caught. This will let us see what OmniScript is sending us, even if our application doesn't know how to handle it right now. Save and refresh the page in your browser. Now, after you see the successfully opened device message, try pressing the OK button on your ScripTouch digitizer. You should see a couple messages come over from OmniScript: a button down, button press, and rendered image object. OmniScript is intercepting the events from your digitizer and forwarding them to your application for you. This concludes this video tutorial. You've learned how to write a simple application that interacts with OmniScript to open a device and receive events from that device.